If you walk through the Kozhikode market at dusk today, the volume of trade is staggering. Even as the sun goes down, the stalls are packed, money changes hands constantly, and the economic energy feels entirely self-sustaining. Local shopkeepers trace the market's endless prosperity back to a centuries-old hostage situation, ending in a calculated political suicide. To understand how this happened, we have to look back to the era of the Zamorins. These Samoothri kings ruled a massive, intensely wealthy postal empire in Kerala, controlling the incredibly lucrative global spice trade. At the height of this power, the reigning king developed a sudden, excruciating pain, localized entirely in his right shoulder. As the days passed, the agony only grew worse, completely paralyzing his ability to govern. In the structure of ancient monarchies, there is zero separation between the body of the ruler and the state of the empire. An incurable, unexplainable physical weakness in the king signaled an immediate vulnerability for the entire region. The royal court brought in the region's top physicians, magicians, and astrologers. They threw every known medical text and spiritual ritual at the problem. Nothing worked, and the pain continued to escalate. Then, a visiting scholar arrived at the palace. He examined the king, confidently dismissed the royal physicians, and stated he could cure the affliction immediately without a single drop of medicine. His required treatment was bafflingly simple. He asked for a standard cloth towel, completely soaked in cold water, wrung out tight, and pressed directly against the king's bare right shoulder. The moment the cold, damp cloth made contact, the intense pain vanished. The king, ecstatic and overwhelmed with relief, immediately rewarded the scholar with gold, jewelry, and royal honors. But medical impossibilities do not disappear because of a wet rag. The king traded his physical pain for a brief moment of comfort, entirely unaware of what he had actually just wiped away. The news of this miraculous cure quickly reached the Diwanji. He was the chief minister of the court, an intensely loyal and highly educated strategist who managed the daily survival of the empire. When he heard the exact details of the wet towel treatment, he panicked. He understood instantly that the kingdom had been expertly sabotaged. The pain was the physical weight of Mahalakshmi, the goddess of wealth, dancing on his right shoulder. But a damped cloth is inauspicious. Pressing it onto her was a violent insult, driving Mahalakshmi away, leaving a void instantly filled by Jesta, goddess of misfortune. The visiting scholar recognized the king's ignorance of his own divine blessing. By prescribing a wet towel, this enemy scholar weaponized the king's lack of awareness to extract the region's wealth. The Diwanji sprinted out of the palace. With the sun rapidly setting, he tore through the winding city streets, desperately trying to intercept the departing goddess before she crossed the kingdom's borders. He finally caught up to her in the exact center of the bustling Kozhikode market. She had manifested in the physical world as a breathtakingly beautiful woman, preparing to leave the city forever. Approaching her with absolute reverence, the Diwanji bowed. He told her he had an urgent message from the court, but he had forgotten his official seal. He pleaded with her to wait in that exact spot while he ran back to retrieve it. The woman agreed to wait, but the Diwanji pushed further. He insisted she swear a formal divine oath that she would not take a single step away from that market stall until he physically returned. She made the promise. Within this mythological framework, the spoken oath is an absolute. No matter how high the status of a deity, once they give their word, they are bound to it permanently. The Diwanji walked back to the palace and entered the throne room. He looked at the king, still relieved from his missing pain, and carefully explained that the royal mandate was gone, and the empire would soon fall. Then, the minister laid out his final piece of logic. He had trapped the goddess of wealth in the market with a promise to return. The only guaranteed way to keep her there forever was to ensure he could never come back. Before anyone could stop him, the loyal Diwanji drew his weapon and ended his own life right there on the palace floor. History followed the Diwanji's brutal math. Stripped of its divine favor, the grief-stricken Zamorin dynasty rapidly lost its political grip, lost its territory, and its ultimate authority. But down in the streets, the Diwanji's contract held up. Because he never returned to release her, the goddess of wealth remained permanently anchored to the cobblestones of the Kozhikode market. The unending volume of trade moving through those stalls today serves as a stark cultural memory. It reminds us that the enduring prosperity of a city is built directly on the quiet, absolute sacrifices of the people who came before us.